3 keypads, 1 desk, my calculator, my phone, my keyboard. 2 of them count 1, 2, 3 in perfect order. The third one starts with Q. I've spent 35 years around machines, and machines have reasons. A beam is sized for its load. A breaker trips at its rating. So tell me the reason. Here, A, B, C was right there. Somebody scrambled it. And here's what I don't understand. This phone keyboard is a sheet of glass. No levers, no moving parts, nothing left to jam. We copied the scramble onto it anyway. So the question is simple. Why isn't the keyboard in alphabetical order? Ask around, and you'll get the answer I got. I don't know. But it's been cited as purposeful. The keys were scrambled on purpose to slow typists down so the arms inside the old typewriters wouldn't jam. Teachers repeat it. It's printed, unsourced, in official engineering literature. So we went looking for the document where somebody actually says that. A patent. A letter. Anything. This film is what we found. And what nobody has ever found. Start at the beginning. 1868. The first typewriter patent from a Milwaukee printer named Christopher Latham Sholes and 2 partners. Here it is. No QWERTY anywhere on it. It describes a keyboard similar to the keyboard of a piano. The machine behind it was a rough piece of work. It printed underneath the carriage, where the typist couldn't see a word. Its type bars swung up, clashed, and jammed when struck fast, and Sholes spent years rearranging the keys. Then there's this photograph. A wooden prototype from the 1870s. Read the top row. QWE.TY. A period, sitting right where your R is now. The layout caught mid-drift. 1878. Sholes patents again. Figure 3 is the keyboard. And there it is. QWERTYUIOP. The whole row, unbroken, exactly as you type it today. The first patent ever to show it. But the board around it was still settling. No number 1, no 0. M up on the home row, next to L, C, and X swapped. The last pieces, from what we can trace, get credited to 1882, a sales firm reshuffling keys, the researchers say, to slip around old patents. Even the finish date is argued over. That's 15 years of documented drift. Patents, photographs, a magazine engraving, and in all of it, not one page that says why the letters sit where they sit. No one has ever produced a document from Sholes explaining the rule. Hold on to that line. Round 1, the slowdown story. We searched the patents, the letters, the period accounts. Number of primary documents saying the keyboard was designed to slow typists down. 0. It gets worse for the myth. Paul David, the economist who made qwerty famous as a bad standard, never claims it. His account says the keys were moved to reduce jamming so typists could go faster. The myth says the opposite of every account on record. 2 researchers at Kyoto University, Koichi and Motoko Yasuoka, read the primary record for years. Their verdict on the slowdown story is one word: nonsense. The machine's first users were telegraph operators taking down live Morse code. Hand them a keyboard built to be slow, and they fall behind the wire. Useless on day 1. And nobody can say who invented the myth. But the Yasuokas traced it, spreading through print. A book states it flat in 1982. Another in 1985. It jumps into psychology, then economics, then a famous essay carries it around the world. A story with no author, footnoted everywhere. Fine, the cartoon version is dead. But historians tell a more respectable version. Surely that one has paperwork. Round 2. The textbook account. Sholes rearranged the letters to separate type bars that were often struck together. Not slower typists this time. Fewer jams. We found that account plausible. We really did. What we couldn't find was a document. No design note, no letter, no rule written down by anyone. A peer-reviewed review in 1983 concluded there's no obvious reason for QWERTY's letter placement, and the doubts remain. The jury has been out for 150 years. And the layout itself argues back. E and R are one of the most typed letter pairs in English. Somebody counted. Yet the final change at Remington put R directly beside E, in the old period's spot. The Kyoto researchers, who physically examined surviving 1870s machines, argue those 2 type bars sat side by side inside the machine too. The rule everybody quotes, broken by the last move. One motive is on record for that move, and it's a sales legend. Put R on the top row, and a salesman could peck out the brand name, typewriter, without leaving the row. The historian who relayed it called it hearsay himself. And the Yasuokas asked the right question. Then why isn't Sholes on one row? Round 3. The best documented account we found, the Yasuoka's own. In their telling, the early typewriter descended from a printing telegraph, and its keyboard was shaped by the people receiving Morse code. In American Morse, the signal for Z is easy to confuse with the pair SE. So, they argue, S had to sit near both Z and E, within easy reach. Look at your keyboard. S, Z, and E. Clustered. In their account, a telegraph operator's headache, frozen into your laptop. I'll be straight with you. This is one research group's account, and the jury is still out on this one too. The strongest challenge to the textbook story we found. Not a verdict. Even their conclusion won't name one clean cause. The layout changed, they write. First to receive telegraphs, then to thrash out a compromise between inventors and producers, and at last to evade old patents. 3 pressures. No designer. So every letter-side story dies the same death. No document. All right, flip the question. The numbers are in order. Somebody decided that on purpose. What does a keypad with paperwork look like? It looks like Bell Labs, late 1950s. They're building the push-button telephone, and instead of guessing, they run the layout as an experiment on real people and publish it. Earlier Bell research had found people expect numbers to read like a page, left to right, top to bottom. In the 1960 tests, users preferred 1, 2, 3 on top. It performed at least as well as everything else they tried. Engineering sealed the choice. The only keypad in your life with paperwork behind it. And the keypad has its own slowdown legend. That Bell flipped the calculator layout so fast operators wouldn't outrun the switching gear. We read the paper. There's no slow the user anything in it. Both slowdown stories, letters and numbers, evaporate on contact with the primary source. One problem. Your calculator has 7, 8, 9 on top, the exact opposite of your phone. That layout is credited to a 10-key adding machine design from David Sundstrand, patent filed in 1914. We read that patent too. It never mentions the layout. Why 7, 8, 9 on top? Nobody has ever located a reason in writing. The scrambled keyboard and the orderly keypad are keeping the same secret. On both sides of your desk, the core decision was never written down. The difference comes down to one day. Only once, in 1960, at Bell Labs, did anyone test a keypad on human beings before it shipped. The letters never got that day. So why isn't the keyboard in alphabetical order? Because no one was ever in charge of it. It accreted. Telegraph needs, factory compromises, patent games, in the best account we have. Then it froze. What froze it was us. Touch typing arrived in the late 1880s, and it was taught on QWERTY from the start. By around the turn of the century, so the standard economic history goes, the whole industry had settled on QWERTY, the universal keyboard. The jamming problem was already obsolete. The trained fingers weren't. The layout rode teletype machines into the computer age, the Kyoto researchers note. And today it sits on your phone, a pane of glass with no mechanical constraint, wearing the scars of a machine that jammed in the 1870s. Here's the kicker. Alternatives are free, on the phone in your hand. Vorak, a rival layout patented in 1936, ships built into Windows and Mac OS, and it's been a native iPhone option since 2022. Almost nobody switches. Economists have fought for 40 years over what that proves. Markets locking us into an inferior standard, says one side. A fable, says the other. The studies everyone cites point opposite ways, and neither original is easy to check. Nobody claims mechanics keeps QWERTY alive today. What keeps it alive is training, habit, the cost of switching, stored in millions of pairs of hands, yours included. The lock-in is you. 3 keypads, 1 desk, 3 histories, and exactly one of them was ever tested on a human being before it shipped. We assume anything this permanent had a designer and a reason. Sometimes the honest answer, the one written in no document anywhere, is that the world standardized on an accident. And then we taught our hands to defend it. Real questions, real answers. I'm Frenchie. Your hands knew this story before you did. If there's something you use every day and can't explain, put it in the comments. It might be the next inquiry. If this changed how you see the thing you type on all day, send it to somebody who types for a living. Then hit like and subscribe so the next question finds you. See you in the next one.